What kind of hope, if any, is left by Orwell? Let's get to the end of the novel now. Winston loves Big Brother, basically gives up, and any remnant, any kind of progress that he made as a rebel is going to be extinguished. So we're completely back to where we started. Winston has no legacy. So there is no legacy left by any individual, so that rebellion can never evolve. There can never be a momentum. There is no rebellious momentum that can be achieved. Because they extinguish the history and the records of anyone who was a rebel, even through their thoughts, and they're able to trace any links that are left there. It's kind of like COVID tracing, isn't it? You know, you trace the chain. You know how they do that? They try and look at everyone who's a close contact. Anyone would be extinguished, so that now we get rid of the virus. And the virus, in this case, is the rebellious thought. So you can actually analogize it to COVID in a funny way. But is there any hope? I would argue there is. What's an often neglected part of the novel? It's actually after the novel finishes. The appendix is still addressing, so it addresses basically, for anyone who doesn't know the appendix, it goes into dissecting what Newspeak is all about. And it also talks about, I think, here's the most important point. There's an appendix at the end which basically says, hey, this book is called 1984, but in reality, you should just note as the reader that in this society, Big Brother's not going to be able to fully limit the language until 2050. So 2050 is actually the later date that it is believed to be conceivable to actually control language to the degree that Big Brother wants, right? So think about it like this. Because the novel's already set in the future in 1984, and then the appendix goes beyond to 2050, Orwell's basically saying it's not too late. That's right, there's still hope, because it is so hard, potentially impossible, to fully control the human need for communication. So human communication as an instinctive biological urge, and language as this very kind of robust and malleable construct, is so hard to control that we actually still have more time. So the appendix, because it increases the date, the time frame to 2050, it's basically Orwell saying, hey, we need to get moving. There's a sense of urgency that we need to be aware of, but also that allows us to still be able to rebel as a collective in the real world. And not so much rebel, but question and challenge.